Okay, so today I'll be doing a video on how I've dealt or coped with depression and anxiety over the past. I want to say it's been a long journey, but it hasn't, it didn't get as bad until about, I want to say, a year, a year and a half ago, when things got really bad. So, as far as my anxiety, normally with my anxiety, it's just like I have like these weird, I guess you can say, I don't know, like panic attacks or anxiety attacks that just kind of, it happens out of nowhere. More so with when this happens, so to say, it's more so, or how I interpret it for me for the most part, it's when something is gonna happen. So I'll either dream about something or whatever, and it kind of just doesn't sit well with me, and I'll just have this weird feeling for a long time. Now, with this feeling, it usually is about something bad happening or just being nervous about something that's going to take place and not really knowing when it's going to take place, or just the thought of knowing that something is going to happen but not knowing what to do about it is what bothers me. So, with that, it's not too bad. It happens every once in a while. It's not something that happens all the time. Well, it happens all the time, but it's more on a state of, just me keeping to myself, or like kind of zoning out, or different things like that. It varies depending on my mood. Now, as far as with the depression, it's with that, it's really bad. I don't have in between stage, as far as, some people are either really hyper and happy, or really chilled, or just really low. I don't have like a really chilled personality or mood, or whatever you want to call it. I'm either all the way up here, I'm either really excited and hyperactive or something, or I'm just really low. Like I shut myself out. I stay in a room all day, no TV, no lights. Basically just in the dark, crying, 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 crying. For most of the time I'll be crying for no reason, or when I get to that stage, it's more so of me thinking about things that has happened to me in my life, and that causes me to become more depressed and more sad, and just wonder why those things happen to me. Like, why did I have to go through this thing? Why did I have to be the one to go through these things? Why do I have to be the one to walk around, not necessarily with a smile on my face, because everybody that know me know I don't really smile like that, but why do I have to walk around like I'm okay when I'm not? I don't have anyone that I can talk to or feel comfortable talking to, because or just even writing it down. When I was younger, I used to have like a notebook or something that I would write stuff down in, and my cousin would find it, and he would bring it to his mom, and I wouldn't get in trouble, but I would kind of get in trouble about it depending on the things that I wrote in it. But I felt like this is supposed to be my journal, this is supposed to be my diary. I'm supposed to be able to feel comfortable to write down these things. If I'm not comfortable with saying it to somebody, I have to find another outlet to get these feelings out, so that way it doesn't bottle up, and when one thing happens, I explode. So from then, I don't really trust people enough. Like, I tell people, depending on how close you are to me, I'll tell you certain things, but I can't tell you everything. There is, even now at my day-to-day life, like being around my aunt, my cousin, boyfriend, sister, brothers, whoever it is, there is just certain information that they don't know. They may act like they know me and know everything that I go through, but they don't know anything. They know what I allow them to. But I have so much things that I deal with internally that I try to, just so that way they don't bother me and just get on my back like, oh, what's wrong with you? I hate when someone asks me what's wrong with me. Don't ask what's wrong with me. Because I could just legitimately be chilling and my face will be like this. That's just me. Don't ask me what's wrong with me, because if I want us to talk about it, I'll talk to you about it. 9 times out of 10, asking what's wrong with me is going to piss me off. And it's going to cause me to cry because I'm mad. Not because something is legit wrong. It's just that don't ask me what's wrong with me. If it was something that I wanted to talk to you about or felt comfortable with talking to you about, I would talk to you. I would tell you about it. But I don't tell you about it, so don't ask. With that being said, within about the last year and a half, I say things got really worse, because when I'm at that low point in my like depression stage or whatever, my anxiety kind of kicks in too. So it's just like, I feel like no one wants to be around me. No one likes me. It's just people tolerate me because they have to, not necessarily because they genuinely want to as a person. But they feel like, oh, because of so-and-so, I have to do this. Or, oh, because she's always there for me, that I have to do this. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. If you don't genuinely want to be my friend, you don't have to be my friend. You don't have to sit there and do things for me. You don't have to. If you're doing something, you're doing it because you want to do it. I don't ask for help. Like, depending on what it is, I'll ask for help. But for the most part, I won't ask, because I feel like it's going to be a problem, so I don't ask. But for about the last year and a half, 2 years or whatever, I was dealing with a lot of family things that has occurred. And with the stress of everything with that, because I feel like you, as an adult, the decisions you make is because that's what you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do, but if it affects somebody else, then you have to rethink your life. If you understand what I'm saying. Like, you can't, okay, with some of the issues that were going on, it affected my brothers. So with me being the oldest, I want to make sure that my brothers are always okay. Whether I'm physically there with them or not, my main priority is making sure that my brothers are okay. So with that being said, some situations occurred where their safety was at risk, or anything that involved putting their safety and their life and their health and things like that in jeopardy. Of course, it bothers me. So I feel like the adults in those situations, they should have made better choices because they're adults. But not everybody acts like that. Not everybody thinks like that. Some people still feel like, I'm grown, I could do what I want to do. Granted, you are and you can, but when you have children and other priorities, that mindset has to go out the window. Because when you continue to think like that, you put in the stress and the weight on other people. I'm only their sister. I can't do everything for them when I'm struggling to make sure things is good for myself. I can't be here, there, and everywhere else in between at one time. I don't have all the money in the world to make sure my whole family is taken care of and that they don't have to worry about anything else. That's not how life works. Granted, there are some people who are lucky enough to be able to take care of their family. I'm not one of those people as of yet. So, I took within those situations that occurred, I took on a lot of the stress because I was the main person that was being called whenever something happened. So it's like, oh, so-and-so did this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, come on. I can't, I have stuff that I have to take care of here. You're grown. You have to do what you have to do to make sure you and your household and everything else is good. But if you continuously put yourself in these predicaments, the caringness that I have for you is going to disappear. It's going to go away because I can't keep running. I can't keep running. I can't keep running. I can't keep going to help you. I can't do it. I can't do it. So with all that stuff going on, I don't know how to, like I stated before, I don't know how to cope with things. I don't know how to express my feelings. I keep things to myself. So what I started doing was, I was going out. I wasn't doing nothing crazy, but I was going out, drinking. Even if I wasn't going out, I was drinking excessively. I was drinking by myself in the house, just coming home, drinking. I was drinking all day, every day, 7 days a week. Friday was payday, so that means more money to go drink. Going out, drinking and smoking. And drinking, okay, that's something that everybody does, but it wasn't, at first drinking wasn't a problem. Like, I was able, to have a few drinks here and there and be fine. But once certain things started happening in my life that I didn't know how to cope with, I would use drinking as something to help me cope or deal with the situations, which doesn't help anything at all. It can either make you more depressed. It's just a lot of negative effects to drinking when you're already in a negative mindset. So for me, I would either be in that negative mindset and start drinking and become angry and different things like that and say things that I don't necessarily mean, or that I would want to say, but I don't say it because I don't have the right words to express the way I want to say without necessarily hurting someone's feelings. So within the last like year or two or whatever, I had went away. When I went away, you go on vacation, you're going to drink and do things like that. Going away, it was stressful, but it wasn't stressful, but it was stressful enough for me to drink even more. Like, the whole time I was away, it was not one day, and I was gone for probably about a week or so. It's not one day that I was where I was and I was sober. The whole time I was away, I was drinking and I was smoking. The whole time. Some of the stuff that happened there, I don't even remember. I don't remember. At one point, I went away somewhere else, and I had went out of town. I don't remember where I went exactly, but I know I went away for probably like the weekend or so, and the person who I was with, they actually came down and I met them and took a ride back up with them. The person who I was with, I talked to them about some of the things that goes on, not everything, certain things, and they offered me a drug, whatever you want to call it. They offered me some pills, and I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I know I shouldn't have done it, but in that point of my life, I did it anyway. So I took it, and I want to say, throughout the course of me being there, maybe like 2 or 3. I don't I don't remember, like 2 or 3. And then to add insult to injury, I was drinking as well. So whenever you take any, whatever, whether it be prescription medication, or any type of pills or anything like that, whether it, even with prescription medication, it could be prescribed to somebody else, and their body can handle whatever milligrams and things like that that their doctor gives them, doesn't mean that your body can handle it and you'll react the same way. Another time I went out to the club. Actually, no, I went out on a Wednesday, stayed out all Wednesday after work, drinking and smoking. Thursday came, never went home. Thursday came, went to work. I had a pair. I kept the pair of I kept the pair of spare clothes and stuff in my bag. Or if I didn't have a spare outfit, I would go and buy something for me to, to wash up and change so I can go to work the next day. Got up, went to work on Thursday. From Thursday, went out drinking and smoking all over again. Went home probably around 4 a.m. Friday. Came home, took a split second nap, and then from there I got up, went to work, and did it all over again. Now that Friday, the way, with all the stress and everything else that happened within that week, I'm sorry, everything is everywhere. I'm just trying to remember certain things. There's a lot of things that I don't necessarily remember, or, wasn't that big of an impact. It was a big impact, but not as far as me coming to the conclusion that, okay, I have to stop and I have to change what I'm doing. That Friday, within that week, it was just so stressful with just dealing with a lot of stuff. That week was stressful. So when that Friday came, I want to say this was probably late spring, early summer. When that Friday came, we went out to a club and we were drinking. It was a lot of drinks, that was going around. Some people have rum and coke, I don't know, Hennessy, Patron, this, that. It was a lot of stuff going on. They say you're not supposed to mix your liquor, but I do it anyway. Or I did it anyway. So I was drinking, and it was about, I want to say maybe 10 people that I went out with that day. So that means that's 10 people, 10 different drinks and drink combinations and things like that. Whoever had whatever, I was taking a cup and I was drinking it. You can give me a glass. You would give me a glass like this big, filled up to the rim. 2 seconds later, I'm going back for another cup. They had one of the persons that was with the group that I was with, they had edibles and stuff like that. Taking all of those, still drinking. Almost got into an altercation in the bar that we went to with, two actually. One with the female and one with the male. Now, going home from that, it was probably, I want to say, 2 a.m, and the bar is downtown on 42nd Street, but on the east side. So everyone else that I went to the bar with, they lived in Brooklyn. I live in Manhattan. So, in upper and more Harlem, whatever. We were in Lower Manhattan. So being intoxicated the way I was, walking those long blocks to get to a train station, anything could happen. And it was raining outside. I remember I was walking across the street and I'm trying to keep myself together. I called one of the girls that I used to be friends with. I called her on the phone, just so that way, if something did happen, if something did happen, someone knew and they would be able to call the cops or whatever the case may be. At least someone would have known what happened to me. So I called her on the phone. We're talking, and I'm walking across the street. It's raining. I'm walking across the street. My eyes are blurred. I can't see. I really can't see. Everything's blurry. I'm walking and I'm stumbling, trying to get across the street, making sure I don't fall. I walk past. At this point, I'm getting ready to walk past a group of guys. Now, with this group of guys, not saying that they were going to do anything, but you don't know people. You don't necessarily know a person's intentions and mindsets when they see a young female drunk at 2-3 o'clock in the morning stumbling down a block. So with that, it was a little scary. I got to the train station. The train was taking a long time to come. I was sitting on the stairs. There were people trying to talk to me. Train came, got on the train, and at this time I had to transfer trains. So at one point, I remember I was at the train station and I blacked out. I don't know what happened in between there, but I eventually end up waking up and getting on the train and making it home. Now with that, I was like, all right, I do have to slow down. I do have to, being that everyone else is getting in a car and I'm taking the train back, I can't drink and I can't drink as much as I would want to, or as much as everybody else. They don't have to take a train home. They all live within walking distance from each other, so everyone can always get dropped off, or two people that's going the same way can walk together and make sure that they get home safe. I can't do that. So another time over the summer, I end up getting sick. And with me getting sick, it wasn't, not sure of what it was that was making me sick. It was either one of two things that was making me sick. So with that, I slowed down drinking and stuff for the moment. Because I was like, all right, well, maybe if I drink this is what's maybe from me drinking beer, going to my best friend's house, beer pong and drinking and everything like that, maybe it's the yeast in the beer. I don't normally drink beer. So at first, with me being sick, it was whenever I drink beer is when my stomach would act up and do different things like that. So, okay, I'll stop doing that. And then over time, it just started getting worse and worse. And with it getting worse, I'm like, I'm only 23. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm scared out my mind. Nobody is telling me anything. So fuck it. If it's meant for me to be here, it is. And if it isn't, then oh well. From there, just downhill. Drinking, being at work drunk. I was drunk at work, but it wasn't necessarily... I'm one of those people, when I drink, like if I walk to a certain extent, you'll be able to notice it. But as far as like me talking and things like that, you won't necessarily be able to tell unless you really pay attention. Other than that, I was fine. Drinking at work, walking around with alcohol in my bag. From me being sick, I had pills and stuff. Going to random people's houses to smoke with them, even not knowing them, going to trap houses, smoking with people. It was just a lot. It was really a lot that was going on and that took place. And I don't really remember what caused me to think like, okay, this is enough. Like, I really have to stop. Like, I don't remember what that wake-up call was. It might have been, actually, it was another family situation occurred. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to deal with the situation because I never really dealt with the situation that was occurring, because once it occurred, I would react within that moment. And then after that, it was like, I'm going to go drink. I'm going to go smoke. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that, because I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with the headache of worrying about making sure other people and just dealing with anybody else when I have my own stuff that I have to deal with. So it was just, within that moment, I was just like, okay, so, I really have to stop. I have to stop. I'm sick, and drinking is making the situation worse than what it already is. So, depending on what I have, because I still didn't know what was going on and why I was sick. This can potentially kill me, because at this point in time, it's just making things worse. It's making things much worse than what it already is. So I had to change my lifestyle. And the summertime come, you want to have fun and do things. There's no problem with having fun, but you have to learn your limits and do things in moderation. And that was my problem. Because of everything, all of the family drama and health issues and things like that I was having, I went the wrong route as far as coping with those problems. When I could have just, spoke to someone, or whatever the case may be. It's different ways that I could have dealt with the situation, but I didn't do it. Now I drink, but I don't drink as much as I did before. I barely drink now. For me, I completely cut out drinking to where just a shot, I be feeling nice. So I cut out drinking. I did it occasionally. Right now, at this point in time, I am not drinking. I'm trying to, for the remainder of this year, I'm trying to remain sober and not drink and not smoke and not do or take anything that causes me to become intoxicated. I'm trying to refrain from those things and become more healthy and just learn to deal and cope with a lot of the things that I have to deal with in my day-to-day life, whether it be with myself personally, family drama, or anything. I'm just trying to become a healthier person physically and mentally. I have to learn how to love myself. I do love myself. I do, but it's just a lot of things, like I stated, that has occurred in my life that, when I do get to those low points where I'm just really depressed and I shut myself out, that I think about all the time, that I wish didn't happen. But there's a lot of those things that I keep to myself because I can't talk to nobody about it, because I know the damage and effect that it will have on other people, because it doesn't just involve myself, it involves other people as well. So I know with a lot of those things, it's gonna cause a whole bunch of drama that I don't want to deal with in this year, that I want no parts of. So with that, I have to learn to let it go without necessarily talking about it to other people. And just whenever, because a lot of people do come to me for help and ask them my opinions. So with that, the best thing I can do is just take those situations and those lessons that I've learned and help other people while they're going through what they're going through. So yeah, it was just those are just the times that I can think of off the back of my head, but I know it was a lot more stuff that occurred that I don't necessarily want to bring up, as far as, other issues, other things, other reasons why I started drinking excessively and doing all this other stuff. But those are just some of the main things that I can think of. And it's not worth it. Drinking and getting high and things like that, it's fine and dandy, it's no problem with it, but you have to learn to do it in moderation. Because when you're sick or when you have other issues going on, being intoxicated affects people differently. It can affect one person that may be going through something, drinking and smoking. They could go out, they can possibly kill themselves, other people, who knows. And that is not a route that I want to go down. I don't want to go down that route, because when I was in middle school, I've thought about it. I've thought about, suicide and things like that, and that's not a route that I want to go down. It's very selfish, and I do understand the severity of it. And when you feel like you have nowhere to go, no one to talk to, no one to turn, you feel like no one is gonna understand the things that you're going through. Because when you try to talk to people about it, not necessarily telling them the whole situation, but when you try to talk to someone about it, they kind of just brushed you off and, oh, it's no big deal, you're overreacting, or yeah, okay, whatever the case may be. That isn't always the answer that someone wants to hear. Sometimes me just talking to you and letting you know what's going on is because I have to get this off of my chest because it's bothering me. I don't necessarily need a response. I just want someone who's going to listen to what I have to say and not sit there and just pretend like they're listening and just say whatever they feel like I want to hear just to brush me off. That's not what I want. Sometimes I just want you. That's not what anyone wants. Just sometimes, if someone is coming to you with an issue or a problem that they had and they just need someone to talk to, just take the minute out to listen to them, because you don't know how this situation may be affecting them. You don't know that maybe they're thinking about killing themselves and you're the last person that they decided to talk to before they continue to go on and do what it is that they're planning to do, and you brush them off. Now you brush them off, you tell them whatever it is that you tell them, and that was like, all right, well, I have no other choice now. They go and kill themselves when you could have been the person who helped them change their mindset and get help, or whatever the case may be. So I want to be that person that's going to help other people. I want to make sure that I'm able to be here to help my brothers and things like that. So definitely, if you are someone who is dealing with depression, anxiety, anything, or you're battling with suicidal thoughts or harming yourself or anything like that, go and get help. It is okay. Everyone has their moments in life where they go through things and they feel like no one is there. But it always is someone there. You may not necessarily want to talk to them, but definitely please go get the help that you need. Because if it was meant for you to not be here, you wouldn't be here, but you're here for a reason. So now you have to continue to grow and prosper to find out what that reason is that you're here for. So don't feel like this is the end. Like you can't go nowhere else. Everything happens for a reason. You may be going through a rough patch now, but that rough patch isn't going to last forever. So please definitely do go get the help. Go talk to someone. Go write it down. Anything. Find an outlet for what you're going through. Just find that outlet. Even if you want to talk to me about it, you can email me, DM me on Instagram. All of the information will be in the description box down below. But do make sure you go get the help.